Hi, this is Charlie Galdona, and this is Winning Attitude for Entrepreneurs. I'm here with David Beckett, the guru of pitching, the world guru of pitching. And this is the second part of our podcast. I'm really delighted to have you here. David, I wanted to ask you, you're in partnership with your wife, so you work together.
Yeah.
How do you deal with all of that? It's quite of a challenge for many people already to share many things. Now you're working from home. Your in partnership with your wife. How are you
Yeah.
managing?
Yeah. Well is the answer in short. You know, we're lucky because we have a lot of things in common. We both like reading. We both like writing. We're both interested in other people. I think those are the starting points of our business. And we wrote a book in Dutch some years ago that was published in early 2016. Sheila actually did most of the work. We did a lot of brainstorming about the topic, and it was about general presentation. It wasn't so much about pitching, but more presentation in general. And so she learned a lot of the topics, and then she started taking care of the back office, which really helped me to focus on getting more customers and polishing the methodology. Well, 18 months ago, she said, "Hey, could I give workshops?" And she'd never given a workshop before in her life. But she's got the same joy in seeing people succeed. So, for years, she's heard me call up after a workshop and say, "Oh, it was great, and I enjoyed it, and the people seem to get so much out of it." Now I have the same thing. She's calling me with that same kick. So last year she did 35 workshops. Of course, a bit less this year because we're both doing a bit less face-to-face. But she's also been giving online workshops, pitch workshops. And I think because we've got similar goals, and especially we've got similar goals for our clients, it works really well. But I hear from a lot of people, they say, if I was working with my wife or my husband, we'd be divorced very quickly.
It's a pretty big challenge for many people. Personality wise, the ego, everything. But so it's really nice to hear that you can separate it somehow. And what about working from home? Are you getting used to it? This is also a challenge many people are facing.
Yeah, we've been doing, so over the years, we've had, Sheila used to have a small office, and I did a lot of work. If I wasn't at clients, I did a lot of work in Starbucks. But now we moved out of Amsterdam. We have a house with an office on the side. We're actually able to lock the door. So there is a door to the kitchen, which is lockable. When we lock that door, that's it. So since I moved there last summer, I think I've 4 times had the computer for work in the house. The rest of it is only in the office. If I need to do something, come to the office. So we have a mental and physical separation between the two. And I think that's very lucky because we've got the space to do it. But it's also, almost by accident, we learned that's very smart.
Definitely. It's an amazing situation that you have also. And not everybody can do it, but yes, what many people do is put some kind of rules and say, okay, we are, if you need to work from the kitchen because you don't have any other choice, at least structure your day somehow that you have some time to focus on what you need to focus.
That's what we used to do because we used to have one table on the top floor of our apartment, and that table was used for eating, for working, and for kids to play at. Now we got 3 different tables, which we desperately needed. But I empathize with anybody that's working at home at the moment that has that situation, And again, the only way is just set some rules, set some personal rules, and try to follow them the best you can.
Yeah, definitely. David, back in the days, like 9 years ago, when I started my master's in business innovation and imagineering, one of the core topics, one of the core methodologies that we used to use was appreciative inquiry. And the basis of it is that the words we use can build worlds and change the whole world, the whole situation where you're in the way you communicate.
Yes.
And then I had a mentor that in Uruguay, that he always used to say, the way we communicate and the words we use are the way we are going to live our
Right.
lives. What do you think about it when pitching? What's the importance of choosing the words, choosing the language you're going to use?
Yeah. So there's actually, maybe you've come across this theory from a guy called Merabian in the 60s,
Yeah,
where in theory, it's 93% body language and voice and only
yeah,
7% content. There's actually a kind of inaccurate interpretation.
yeah,
What he was talking about was that if you say one thing, but your body language says something else. So, for
yeah,
example, if you say yes,
yeah,
there is, and you say yes, but you shake your head to say no, people believe the no. They don't believe the word the yes.
yeah,
Now, what that tells you is that what's most important is to be in line with the person you are and your beliefs. So if you say something which you don't truly believe and you don't truly mean, something will show itself. You'll either hear it in the voice or you'll see it in the body
yeah,
language. And when there's a mismatch between what you really mean, your absolute truth, and what you communicate, it goes wrong. People can smell it
yeah,
from 100 meters.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And so I think what's important in choosing the words is to make sure that these are words that you would say to a friend over coffee, that you would say to a person who really knows you.
Yeah,
And because you can't lie to those people, you can't make things up.
yeah.
You need to keep in line with the person you are. I believe that matters a lot. And words really count. They really mean a lot, I believe.
Yeah, you brought me to a thought that, well, many people, when they need to pitch and to big investors
Mhm.
and they are a small startup, maybe just an idea or really a very small team starting, they sometimes tend to inflate the whole thing, like
Mm.
not lie, but more or less. They they
Yes.
they like to tell a little bit of stories that go a little bit around. And it's what you say, you smell it. But what do you suggest for those people that feel like, what kind of story can I tell if I don't have a very big experience? I don't have a very big story. Where can I start from?
Yeah. So I think the fear that people have is that they are supposed to know all the answers, but they
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
They feel they need to put a front up that says everything's fine here, everything's perfect. We've got this, we've done that, we've
exactly.
achieved this.
Yeah,
And I think that's a misunderstanding of what people are expecting, especially a pitch. Mostly people are pitching a startup. Now, a
yeah,
startup is not a multi-billion business. It's an idea that's developing into who knows what.
yeah,
That's the whole point. And I think what is a better approach is to talk about what you know and what you don't know. Talk about the assumptions that you need to validate. Talk what you have validated. When people are in early stages, what I basically say is you're there to pitch a problem, a dream, and a team,
yeah,
and you you've identified a problem. Your dream is to fix it, and you're working on something to fix it, and you've got people around you that will help you make that happen. So I think, we don't need a perfect story, and not everything needs to be big,
yeah,
but there needs to be movement. Things are happening. We're connecting with people. We're trying to build something. We're trying to learn more. We just last week found this out, and now we're switching so we can do that. That's a different story. That talks about a movie that's happening,
yeah,
not we already did everything.
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think
Yeah.
people believe that.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that, well, he inspired me to add to my methodology on winning attitude, the 13 habits that we use to empower your winning attitude. One of them is to create epic meaning. And it's what you say. Sometimes you don't, it doesn't have to be something really epic, but sometimes
No.
you need to look for those stories that can move, that have some emotion, that have some touch
Yeah.
touch the heart somehow.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are simple. It does, you don't need to raise millions, and you don't need to have sold I don't know what in a extravagant way. But yeah, sometimes it's simple things that can move the emotions.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it can just be the reaction of a person who has seen your product for the first time. It can
Yeah,
be something that you found, wow, we managed to break through on this, and I'm
yeah,
so happy that this seems like something that people like. we need to get connected to why we do this stuff and the joy that we get out of it. All the investors I've spoken to and all the people that listen to pitches, they all want, all the rational stuff. Yeah, the problem, the solution, how big is the market, all that stuff. That's important. But they all say, I want to see the passion in the eyes of the entrepreneur. I want to find out what drives you to do this. Why should I believe that you're going to keep going when all the odds are against you? And that's the human stuff. That's not the rational stuff. The rational stuff is the basis. That's fine. But the stuff that takes people over the top is the human stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Yeah, and many other points. I really thank you, David, for all your tips. The idea of this is to give some tools to add to the toolkit of every other entrepreneur. Yeah, you have also your network, something that we didn't talk about, but you do have other coaches around the world. You have Martin in Spain and many others in other countries. The idea we've been talking about also about trying to find nice coaches in Latin America that they can do it in Spanish. You also built your own platform. Talk to me very shortly about the website, about the platform that many people can do this with your presence and have you on an event and things like that, and now maybe on Zoom, but they can also follow your platform, and it's something that I really encourage all entrepreneurs to do, because it's a simple way to add to your toolkit. It's something that is really valuable.
Yeah. So I've built an online academy. People can find it on my website, best3minutes.com, and then there's an academy tab there. And I've been building a pitch masterclass, manage your pitching nerves. There's build a 1-minute pitch. There's also now how to present online. So there's a suite of courses. And I recognize that not everybody's got the time to have coaching or the money. So this is a next best way to get the materials, because these are sharing all the tools that I've tested in person. So there's a lot of practical stuff in there, all short movies. Everything's short in pitching world. And I'm really focused on helping people actually do things that will help them get better, not just think about things.
Really cool. I wanted to wrap it up only with a couple of tips. Maybe, how do you work with these limiting beliefs? Many people have that limiting belief that they cannot speak in public. They have that, and they get so much nervous before speaking in public that they don't want to go through it. Do you have a couple of tips to give to those people to break those nerves, to break that limiting belief and rewire somehow their mind with the power of habit, or I don't know, what do you use?
So my methodology is all about breaking the whole thing into pieces. So for example, for people who say I can't do a pitch, I say, okay, well, let's just work on the first 3 sentences. What would be the first? Here's a couple of examples of how startups start their pitch. What would be your way? Let's just write that down and try it out. And somebody might think, well, I can't do a pitch, but nobody can say I can't do 3 sentences. So everybody can think of 3 sentences and say them out loud and get some feedback. And then you repeat that through the different pieces, and before you know it, you've actually got a pitch. And so my goal is always, if people are really overwhelmed, just break it down into pieces. The classic break the elephant into bite-sized chunks. It's all about breaking it to pieces. And then the other thing is repetition, saying things out loud. By the time you get face-to-face with people, suddenly it feels like the most natural thing in the world. I said this 11 times already. This is the 12th. Whereas if you leave it and you just think, and then stand in front of people, the judgment, internal judgment voice just goes very loud. And you've said it out loud many times, it changes everything, especially the first 60 seconds when you practice.
I really use that tip that you gave. I always get I've done a lot of things, but I always get nervous before getting into with an audience, if it's 10 people, 30, whatever. But having that 30 seconds or one minute,
Yeah,
memorized and really rehearse it and rehearse, then you lose the nerves somehow and you get
absolutely.
into the flow.
Yeah, that's the moment of most stress. When you
Yeah.
stand up, you get started, and that's when we have the peak of stress, and we just need to be ready to manage that. When you get through that first 30 to 60 seconds, everything calms down, your brain re-engages, and you get in your flow. So if you can just manage yourself through that first 60 seconds, you have a really big chance that things will go much better.
Thank you very much, David, for all your tips. It was amazing chat.
Problem.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the coming months and new experiences. I will follow your webinar, and I
Cool.
really encourage everybody to do so. And yeah, I wish you all the best, David. Thank you very much.
Same to you, Charlie. All the best, and everybody stay safe, and for you and your family as well.
Yeah, the same to you. Well, this was Winning Attitude for Entrepreneurs.